So before we get started with this week's episode, I do want to quickly touch on the new Venom trailer that came out the other day. Why? Because I ripped into the last one pretty hard, and also I didn't get to the Card Fight Vanguard or High School DxD video this week, so I kind of want to make up for it with a little something extra. Anyways, so I didn't really like the last Venom trailer, and this one is better in some areas, pretty bad in some others. First up, the one thing that I really like in this trailer, and that is the Eddie Brock portrayal. At first, even though I really like Tom Hardy, I think the voice he has for Eddie Brock sounds a little goofy. But what I do like is that you see that Venom is an addiction. The symbiote is this darkness. It consumes him. And throughout the trailer, you see it like take over more of him as he tries to resist it, tries to hold on, but he slowly gives in, as opposed to the last trailer where she's like, we're only going to kill bad people, like that kind of thing. That's really neat to see, and I feel like that will be the heart and soul of the movie. Having said that, there were these two Spider-Man movies they did that had Academy Award level talent playing the leads, and those kind of fell flat. Moving on to the rest of the trailer, though, we kind of get what's going to let the movie down, and that is the film's attempt to look generic as possible. First, with the actual Venom stuff. I don't mind the costume as much as a lot of people do. Yeah, it's weird him not having the spider logo on him. And yeah, the CGI doesn't look good, but I can live with bad CGI if I really get a sense that there is something real to latch onto here. In this case, being the scariness of Venom, and I just don't get it. That dialogue he has is atrocious. Apart from the fact that I can't even really understand what he's saying and had to watch the trailer like 2 or 3 times to get it, it's just not funny or scary, and it's just long-winded and annoying. Like, the minute it shows up, like, listing organs and then so many snacks, you need that time to make Venom seem threatening. At the end of the last trailer, when Venom shows up, it feels like shit's about to go down. Now it's like, nah, he's gonna say some goofy lines. Like, that's it. We probably won't even see a lot of the violence. Yeah, a lot of people are saying this movie's gonna be rated R. It's Sony. There's still a good shot they are gonna screw this up, as far as the rating goes. And it's like, no, I need to be afraid of Venom, but if he's just going to have a lot of weird, long-winded, goofy dialogue, that's not a reason to be afraid. The director of this movie keeps saying, like, oh, it's not a film with heroes, it's all villains. Then let Venom seem like a villain. Show him being destructive. Show him hurting people. Don't just have him try and scare people with dumb Halloween lines. It's not scary, it's not intimidating, and I needed those moments to really be able to fear him. And I don't, and that's the problem. And then we move on to the other big problem, and that is, this isn't a movie with all villains, because you show your villain in the trailer! At least in Suicide Squad, they knew to hide the really dumb Cara Delevingne character, that she would be the villain until you actually got to the movie, so they could sort of give off the illusion that these characters would be evil. Here, you have your clear villain. It's generic science guy. Who cares? And it's like, I'm gonna change the world in generic evil science crap. And he's gonna become, what is that, Riot, I think? That's the symbiote he is. So it's gonna be a Venom v Venom showdown, except they look exactly the same. So it's gonna be hard as hell to tell what's fucking going on. And it's just like, it looks generic. And as interesting as some ideas are in this trailer, I just feel like there's nothing really unique, and I feel what is kind of interesting, being the Eddie Brock stuff, is going to be just shoved down a tube along with all this generic crap. Like, even at the end there, that joke is... Who thought that would be a good idea? But anyways, moving on to Yu-Gi-Oh! This week, this was interesting. First up, what the hell is pink-haired guy doing using my Gokis? Yeah, I know it's Go's Gokis because it's the series, but what the hell, man? My Gokis are being used by this idiot. Like, what the fuck? And better yet, why not have Go still use his Gokis and have the other guy use the Dino Wrestlers? Like, it's just kind of weird. Like, why not let him just use other Dino Wrestlers so you can get that deck a little more support? Why the Gokis? It just kind of feels like they kind of needed to rush to fill 25 minutes of screen time, so they didn't feel like doing anything that interesting, and that new Goki monster probably has just been sitting on the desk for a few months looking for time to get used. It's weird and it's random, and I really don't like it. Moving on to the main sort of thing, I like that Soulburner, the target demographic homer, whatever he did to beat the other guy or lose to the other guy, who knows, is being interwoven into the actual main focus of the duel. That's cool, and I do like the idea that the focus of the duel is not just to win. The focus is actually to cripple him psychologically. That's a really neat idea, and I like that we get to see more of a sadistic side to Blood Shepherd. Up till now, he's been a pretty generic character, but I like that idea that he legitimately is trying to just torture this guy and psychologically hurt him. And I think it's interesting they bring the arm thing back into it. I don't know what it's really going to do. With having these two characters on screen like this, though, you do get an interesting sort of dynamic. Here you, on one side, is Blood Shepherd, who is driven by anger and vengeance because of a traumatic event, and on the other side you have, I'll just call him Soulburner this week, you have Soulburner, who is trying to sort of maybe be a bit more constructive, be a better person, improve his life. You have these two characters who are going through the same struggle, but they're choosing to go about it in different ways. Now, yes, this is probably the conflict that should be between Soulburner and Yusaku, but they're not doing it, so we're just going to take what we can get. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of a neat idea. The one thing, though, that kind of bugged me, someone pointed this out last week, that it looks like Blood Shepherd is going through Soulburner's memories. Great observation. I didn't even think of that. It's great people, you notice that. But from a writing perspective, like, did we know they could do this? Like, why are they able to do this? Why does this world have this technology? Like, the thing is that if you're going to put in a big... Being able to go into someone's minds and alter their memories is a big deal. Remember how big a deal it was that, what's his name, Revolver was able to get into Aoi's mind and mess her up? Remember how big a deal that was? Or that Yusaku could get really hurt in a speed duel, that kind of thing? These are big deals. Being able to go into someone's head and look at their entire life and potentially mess with stuff should be a much bigger deal than just sort of a plot contrivance for why a character is able to mess with another character. Like, either make it's a bigger deal, because if that's the case, if they've had access to this kind of trap for a long time, why not trap Playmaker with it originally? You had a bunch of opportunities to trap Playmaker. He's a fucking moron. Like, you could easily just trap him and get all you need to know and go and arrest his ass. Like, it doesn't seem like that hard. And the thing is that when you just throw this kind of thing in this late into the game, it just kind of makes me question everything else, which wouldn't be such a big deal, except it's such a big deal in this episode that he's doing this. Like, and it's very avoidable. If you have to make it that Blood Shepherd was able to do all this, why not make it something that actually goes into Blood Shepherd's intelligence instead of just a dumb trap? Why not make it that Blood Shepherd was actually able to figure out who Soulburner is? Make it that he didn't hide his tracks as well as Yusaku does. Because that would be a very easy thing. Be like, there's a new Vrains guy. Well, there's a new guy at the high school where all this shit seems to go down, so let's do that. I know that's not a very great example, but why not use that opportunity to show off Blood Shepherd's intelligence and his drive and his will? Then you can show off the sadistic side, and it makes it even scarier. Kind of like with the Venom trailer. Take that time and use the power of a visual medium to show off why a character is scary. Like, that's what I really wanted to see here, and I didn't get that. But I do like what's going on here, and it is interesting. At least conceptually. Where does it go from here? I don't know. We'll find out next week. What did you think? Tell me about that in the comments section below. And as for this week's TCG question of the week, so it apparently got leaked yesterday or the day before that Droll Lockbird will not be in the Power Code structure deck. I don't know if that's what it's called, but it's the one with Power Code Talker. And some people are mad about this because, well, Droll needs another reprint, but I have seen some people happy that this doesn't cause Droll's price to crash, as well as also we get to keep it with hollow printings as opposed to an ugly-ass common printing. I hate my common Link Karibo. What do you think? Because personally, I don't want it in a structure deck. I'd rather have it get reprinted somewhere else so it can still have a little sense of specialness to it. like, I have 2 common D barriers from the one that one got printed in that were common, Cosmic Cyclones, and, well, even though I'm all for making cards easy for people to get, when you push it to that extreme, it kind of just ruins the fun of it. Like, I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but I want to see if anyone else thinks that. And as for, oh wait, that's it. Yeah. Tell me all that below. Tell me about Venom. Tell me about this episode. Tell me about Drone Lockwood. Tell me about whatever you feel like. And as always, click to like, click subscribe, and I swear I will get to the DXD and Cardfight Vanguard videos. I promise.